Fashionably late Thursday. Welcome to the Not Relevant podcast. Scott, how you doing?
I'm hearing weird noises on my end now.
Oh no, we had it dialed in right before we went live.
Oh man, let's turn the music down. At least that'll work.
The beauty of streaming in two different areas. The good thing is we're consistent. It's 7:02 Central, 8:02 Eastern, and that's about the time we typically go live. So we didn't miss a beat there. Audio was perfect in sound check, and now you're getting some feedback when we're live. So that's on par. Sounds like a podcast.
The funny thing is, you're going to tell them when sound check started, because we do so much preparation here. Really, it's like you can't understate how much behind the scenes work goes into this. When did we start working on our sound check?
7 minutes ago.
That's about right. Until then, it was just Thomas in chat, and I was nowhere to be seen. So it was all on you.
We're usually a little bit better than that. I was late
by we.
No. But it's funny because so everyone listening tonight, I was freaking out because I restarted my whole system here, which I've shown it behind the scenes, I think maybe once or twice. And I rebooted everything because I had some glitches going on. And my Google account, YouTube, StreamYard, everything blocked me out. My authentication was done. My typical enter the password and then click sent me a verification link via cell to then log in. It didn't give me the option. It said, now go try another way. So it took me 5 or 6 verifications. So I couldn't get on YouTube, our script for the podcast. I couldn't get in StreamYard. And so I'm panicking, freaking out. Like I'm going to be late. And so I log in and I'm finally there. And what do I log into? A empty chair in front of a green screen with my partner. He's not even here. He's not home yet. So oh no.
I have it. I don't have a reason. I have it's a bad excuse. I was upstairs showing my kid a YouTube video. I was upstairs. Wait, is this scripted? Define script. Red pen. Yeah, we use the term loosely.
Yeah.
I was upstairs. My son. They had been to like a science thing today. My oldest son. Well, not my oldest, but my third oldest son, the one who did the piano thing.
Yes.
Had a brain section for science that we'd scheduled today. We partner with some other schools and do that. So while he's doing that, my other kids were off at another science thing, and there was an animal thing. They were holding rats and feeding alligators. I just thought that was cool. I don't know why I'm talking about this. Yes, they were holding the rat, and I'm like, that's the rat running around climbing up people's pant legs is what they were talking about. I'm like, well, you have to hear the song about that. And there's a song about the day the squirrel went berserk in the first self-righteous church. It's a funny song. It's a comedy song. And so I looked up the YouTube video, and we were watching that and laughing. And then I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, oh crap! I need to run downstairs.
I'm late for a meeting or a podcast. I'm not sure which one.
I canceled the meeting. Thomas. I remembered at the last minute. And the guy I had the meeting with wants to come on the podcast. So you never know.
Perfect.
He's a lawyer after all.
Oh, I love it. Is he there local, NNC?
Yes, he's local to me.
That would be fun because we haven't followed anything out of North Carolina, have we?
I am trying. And he's had like some murder trials, some crazy stuff, some gang stuff.
Oh
man, the gang stuff I'm not too excited about, but I've got a contact here that he's the lawyer, right? And then I've got another buddy that is on the gang squad for the police in town. Okay. So that guy does the arrest, and then the lawyer defends the dude. And it's fun to talk to two people about the same case.
True.
So maybe we can pull that off and get both of them on there at the same time.
That would be neat. But it's with correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not involved in law too. We do podcasts, and I follow your channel. I'm a fan of the channel.
Thank you.
But yeah. But being
You're a
law
mod. You're here 24/7. That's the truth.
don't leave this chair. But being in law too, isn't it nice to be so far removed from everything you're following and not be local? And my example would be, so my dad, he was a San Diego County sheriff for
Mm.
40 years. And obviously San Diego's a big county. It's broken up and all this. So he never, ever, ever worked where we lived because he didn't want to go to the grocery store and get in a fight with a guy he just put in jail. So he always worked a beat 45 minutes away. I feel like Law 2 would be the same way. You cover all these cases and trials, give your commentary, your opinion. Would you ever want to cover something that's in your backyard?
I've heard a saying that they ask that same question. Do you know the saying I'm talking about?
Don't bleep where you eat.
Yes, yes, that's it. It has its benefits. I mean, there's one thing. I mean, first of all, if I like showed up to court and I'm like, airing a trial and I know the defendant, I'd be like, oh man, I'm not sure,
Yeah,
how I feel about this.
that's a tough one.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yet the catch 22 is with it being in your backyard, you have connections. You have the lawyer friend, the gang unit friend. So now you can get insight,
we get the interviews, get the
information.
good seat in the courthouse.
You can give the viewers what they want and give that info. I 100% get it. That makes sense.
It's a
Now, so
dilemma.
maybe you just do interviews with them instead of any sort of trial. That way, there's no defendants involved.
I I honestly, I want to do a trial. I'm willing to risk it.
I'm all in. I'm all
I
in.
I want so badly to have a dry run when I'm close to home. So if something goes wrong, I can run down to the ASAP photo store, which is where like Mr. Beast goes when he needs something in a hurry for like, hey, we need 700 feet of SDI cable for this special project. And they're like, oh, it's here and back.
Yeah,
Run down
fair.
there. They have everything you need. They're not sponsored, by the way. But I've had to run down there and be like, oh, I need a SDI to HDMI converter bidirectional. Well, right here. Cool.
And they'll do it.
But I want to be close by because, down the road when we're like at say Brian Kober or Corey Richards or something, I don't know where those stores are in those places. So I'm just
Fair.
like on my own. I'd like to learn,
Okay.
the mistakes locally. But
All right. So there's options.
yeah.
That's fun. So speaking of that, I wanted to bring it up.
Mhm.
We spoke about. I got to minimize the window here real quick. So for those of you that tuned in last week, and learned, so I got accepted to the Citizens Police Academy, which again, it's just a chance to learn more about the local PD and them to gain trust of their citizens. It does not give me any sort of Leo certification, anything like that. It's 12 weeks of just learning the ins and outs of our local PD. I got my schedule this week, which is really cool. So I start March 4th. So I
Which
kind of,
is
do you have any?
the Monday, right?
I think I'm hoping it's a
Yeah,
Tuesday because that's what it promoted. Is it a Monday?
it's a Monday. What are you doing on Monday? You got to
Oh,
cancel
I
something.
hate Mondays. Why are they doing this to me? No. Okay, so Monday.
Yeah.
So it's in the evening. So I'm gonna a quick rundown from the schedule since it's 12 weeks. I don't want to drag it out, but a welcome and then we do dispatch. Week 2, Patsy's house, which is child
Yeah.
introduction interviews, that type of stuff.
That's a
CPS,
tough one.
juvenile detectives. Yep, that'll be pretty heavy. 3, I'm excited for it. The All Red Prison Tour. That is a prison that is 7 miles to our north, which is one of the heaviest in Texas here in our
And
town.
and
Full
these
tour.
are active, fully functioning prisons. You're going in, you're checking out yeah, it's really cool.
I just learned something.
What?
So I signed up for this because the whole thing is 12 weeks for a couple hours once a week in the evenings. The prison tour, I kid you not, I just read at 1 p.m. It's in the middle of the day. It's optional. So I can't. It's in the middle of my work day. I gotta take off work
Your
to
boss will understand.
she so
Say, tell him you're meeting with a client or something. It's
sure. Oh man, I just can't believe I overlooked that when I got it. So week 4 is the motorcycle unit and crash investigations. Week 5 is the juvenile tour, police driving mock traffic stops. That's when we get to drive their cars through the obstacle course, which I'm
oh
pumped for.
yeah.
Week 6, gang unit and negotiators. Awesome. Uh, week 7, DA office. And no, not really excited about that one. But they wrap in some fire department. I like those guys.
Eric's got the answer right here for you.
Sorry, boss. I need to go to prison. I like
that conversation will go over well, I'm sure.
Hey, boss, do you mind PayPaling me some bail money? I have to go to prison today and get myself a little unsolicited bonus. Week 8 is financial crimes and narcotics. 9 is crime scene investigation, CSI and ID. Week 10 is recruiting and training, taser, handcuffing, shoot, don't shoot. So week 10 is a great one. Yes. I will get cuffed. I will get tased. If they offer macing, I will take that one.
Hopefully they have one other thing they offer that night, and that is videoing services, because that's one video we would have to show on the podcast.
100%. So I'm going to ask them in my whatever week 1 of introductions. I'm going to tell them, hey, I partner with a YouTuber. I'm going to see if Mrs. Weatherwatch can come and film some certain aspects of it, so that way you can show some.
So yeah, I imagine, aside from like security concerns in the prison, you're probably going to be able to do a lot of that. I don't know. They when I did mine, they're amazingly like raw with data and information. So like some days when you're doing crime scene investigations, they're like, hey, we're showing you pictures the public can't see. So those days, I imagine but I imagine some of your activities, the shoot, don't shoot, if you're in the hot house or with a SWAT team and
totally, or getting tased.
I expect videos.
Hey, you guys are going to tase me and mace me. Can my wife please video it? Please? And they'll, okay.
She's been wanting to do this forever.
Yeah.
Like tase me.
In fact, can you video her tasing me? Because she's really wanted to take me down a couple times and I deserve it. So it's actually funny you say that. So I have a few good friends of mine that have been in the motor unit here in town, and they have a great motor unit. In fact, I'll brag on them a little bit since I'm not a part of them. But they do, for those that don't know, the motor units for police departments every year have rodeos. They have state, regional, and national, where they go compete, and they bob and weave through
calf roping, barrel
without
racing.
The calf. Yeah, exactly. Same thing on a motorcycle. Yep. So it's a crazy tight obstacle course. They're on big giant police motorcycle bikes that they're doing 90-point turns at 5 miles an hour within 10 degree. It's insane the talent they have. So it turns out our town is very talented. They've won a couple national tournaments out in Vegas. So one day I went to the police station to visit my buddy who's on that unit, and they pull into their little ramp into the basement. And so he opened the gate and had me pull in and park, and we're sitting there talking, myself, him, and 4 other colleagues. And he stopped and went, oh, wait a second. Don't look over there at that van and ignore everything you see about it and everything around it. Because that was their full undercover van, surveillance, everything gamut that they had pulled out. And
this is not the van you were looking for.
Yes, it was front and center. And I got to see every bit of this van that they do surveillance in the city and undercover stuff with. And he went, oh. And fortunately, he was a supervisor. So he looked at all the other guys with us and said, beat it. And then he looked at me and goes, leave now. so I had to peel out in the basement and take off and go. So yeah, it's
what van?
Yeah, what van? Never seen it before. What's funny is I look for it all the time. That was probably 7 years ago. I've never seen it anywhere, but I look for it every time I go somewhere.
I'm super jealous. I'm super excited for you. You're gonna love it. But I do want videos of all these activities, especially the tasing.
So I think I'm gonna go ahead and buy a GoPro and get a couple mounts. I think I'm just gonna go with a chest mount, just so that way if I have to decipher between everything, so I can try to get some film. If not, if it's too last minute, I can't get one and get it set up, I'll get Mrs. Weatherwatch to film what she can. But so finishing off the week,
it starts March. I can send you one.
Week 11. Week 11 is animal control and canine showcasing. And then week 12, another fun one, SWAT demo and weapons. And looking at the address on my calendar, I know that is a range. That is an awesome range. It's a huge coral cliff with huge symbols that they have mounted. It's incredible. So that'll be fun. And then 5/28 is graduation.
I
So
can send you the live view and you can stream the entire thing.
my county would be like, "What is this alien contraption of broadcasting?" No, they would freak out. That would be so incredible though.
I know.
And if they would take a minute to learn and educate themselves of what this could do, because they are struggling to recruit for their actual PD. But hey, let's make a recruiting video out of this. Let's get people involved. Showcase it. We should have started this a year ago before I applied.
we could have had a series, a YouTube series of every night's class. That would have been
true. So I do think I'm going to try to do the GoPro thing, see what I can get from it, and then upload it onto my Mac and see what footage we can get. So that way you can share whenever you've got some open air and put it out there. But
I'm so excited. It's going to be awesome. I'm super excited.
I'm pumped.
Wow.
Cool. So we have a podcast to talk about.
Should we talk about anything that we planned on talking about today, or you just want to?
We can just talk about ourselves. Quick recap. I missed it. What happened on the verdict? I had to leave and go. So I'm
just kidding. It was a very quick. I think it was just under 50 minutes of deliberation. The jury up there in Thurston, Washington, deliberated on that case. It was the employee of the care facility with the victim was a patient in the care facility. She has Alzheimer's. She's elderly.
Okay.
He was showering her, and there was a new employee there observing. That was their first day, brand new day, first day on the job, and that new employee said that he hit the inmate there, or not the inmate. Well, she feels like an inmate because she wants out, but they hit the resident, the patient.
Okay.
She struck him because she was very combative with Alzheimer's and didn't want to participate in the hygiene activities that were going on. Okay. And anyway, the jury deliberated about 50 minutes, came back with not guilties across the board.
15 or 50?
15. Ask the question again. What was that about?
Did you said 15 or 50?
No, they came not guilty. The jury deliberated. 50 minutes. Okay,
yeah, how many minutes?
I've got the memory of a goldfish. If it was 2 sentences ago, you have to remind me what I just said. Thomas, get with the times here. That was 1 sentence.
So just under an hour, not guilty.
Yeah, not guilty.
Okay, that's okay. That's I rarely share my opinions on things, but greener wires are crossed. Yeah. So I'll give an opinion on this one myself. I'm very close to this case as well. We have father-in-law is bedridden. We have 24/7 in-home health care with CRNs and head nurses and everything else, with assistants and just helpers as they get called. And we have cameras all over the interior of the house. We actually moved him from Dallas to a property a mile behind us a year and a half ago or two. So we can visit more often and be there. So same thing. He struggles with dementia. So when you brought this case up, and we really didn't know what the case was, I think when you first posted, we were like, Thurston County, what do we got here?
We just saw jury trial. We're like, sure, sign us up.
And then we were knee deep in mud when they started it. And we went, oh cow. But from a legal position for myself, watching the trial from all of it, I'll admit I voted not guilty because of the legal aspect of evidence. You have a he said, she said case. And she was halfway-ish kind of impeached on the stand. Yeah. Kind of, sort of not, but
credibility was definitely called into question.
Right.
As far as her testimony goes.
Yeah. So she said he did what he did, and he said, I didn't do what I did. So, like I said, if he did do it, we actually, I don't think anyone actually knows besides the two of them, if he did it or not. No one proved it either way. But when you look at law, it does go to the case of what I'd rather let, 12 men free than one man that is guilty or something, whatever that is.
You just want to let them all free. You're like, free them.
Let them all go.
Let them go.
No, I know. I just don't feel like there was enough to convict someone for it. But man, that was, it's being part of the break and relief of coming off of a case really found a way to end the week with a pretty heavy case for a lot of people that hit home that you didn't know about.
Sorry. My apologies all
Law
around.
tube strikes again. It finds a
Yeah.
way to sneak up on you and get there, but
Yeah. The options were even worse. So it was
100%.
his lawyer said he did it. Hot mic moment. Afterwards, the case is over, and the lawyers are congratulating him because sitting through a trial, he was worried, he was nervous, and
Yeah.
the lawyer saying, "Hey, congratulations, you did well." And the defendant says, "That's because I didn't do it." And she says, "No, you did it." And he's like, "No, I didn't do it. I didn't do it." She's saying,
Whoa.
"You did it. You did well." Sitting through the
Oh,
trial
God.
as a defendant,
Gotcha.
and so him
It
sitting there next
sounded
to his
like,
lawyer, yeah, oh my goodness.
well, and keeping in mind they've got the newer lawyers, which I really think Thurston County is really
Brand new.
cool.
Brand new lawyers. First trial on defense, first trial on prosecution.
And that's what, the third time with Thurston County
Yeah.
that they're newbies. I really think it's a cool experience. Someone posted on the Recovery Addict channel Facebook thing today of, and I'm not knocking their post. I totally understood it. They said, what's going on with this trial? It's like, they're taking so long. It's like a mock trial. These attorneys take so long. And so I responded with 100%. You're right. It's because this particular court, they always show with their new attorneys. It's first time, and they're getting chaperoned by senior attorneys, and it's completely different. And yes, it can be painful at times with how slow it gets, but it's so neat to see how they get chaperoned and educated and taught, and the judge knows what's coming, so he's sitting there so patient like this, just because it's been 10
I'm
minutes.
sure how he feels on the inside, but on the outside,
yes.
he's very stoic and just patient.
Right.
But on the inside, he's like, "Really, guys? Again?"
Any recross? And they go, "Yes, judge." And he goes, "Okay, great." And then
5 minutes later.
yeah, exactly. He's going, "Okay, I know what to expect here." But he's so patient. So I think Thurston County's been kind of a golden gem for your channel because it's nothing's been too out of control. We've had some comedic trials come through, Mr. Farag, things like that. But getting to see these new young attorneys dive into it and get taught the ways, I think it's really cool. So
yeah, it's a blast. Going back to your story just a little bit, and talking about your experience here, it's when you have people they're in a vulnerable situation there, it's dangerous, and people can prey on them a little bit. They can, you think of all the scams that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
Telephone scams. We had one call came in today. It was a scam. It was somebody pretending to be a scam today. But do you want to? Was that a smooth enough transition for you, or do you
Great
want me
segue
to tee this ball up for you?
No, that's a T-ball I can hit 350 yards down the fairway for sure. So we touched on AI last podcast. It's continuing, and it's worse, and it's even more dirty than ever before. Scammers are utilizing AI to write obituaries upon people that are still alive. And now they're using that obituary to reach out to long lost family and friends and publish this obituary to scam them out of support financially for burials, funerals, celebrations of life, you name it, whatever they can think of. Insurance payments out to other extended family, but they're taking advantage of those that have long lost family, writing fake obituaries, publishing them, and they're nailing it, and they're getting money. They are legit scamming and taking money, that it's become a warning from law enforcement.
So a movie line pops in my head. I realize I should not be laughing here, but this sounds like a line out of a Monty Python skit.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
I'm not dead yet.
Yeah.
Oh, but you will be.
100%.
It's, you guys, if you've seen the movie Monty Python and the Holy Grail, you know what that line's about. But seriously, writing. Sometimes we see this in the news business, like when somebody famous specifically is about to pass away. This shouldn't be a surprise to you. News pre-writes the obituaries. Okay, they've gone out, they've done all the homework. They've Thomas, you frozen? Oh, okay. I'm like, you were just holding very still.
I was listening intently.
they tell your life story, and it's like, and so, because every news channel wants to be the first at breaking the news. It's like, hey, famous person XYZ just passed away, and they've got the video, the B-roll, they've got all the highlights of their life, they've got the pictures, everything but a picture of the tombstone. They've got prepped, and sometimes that button gets pushed when it should not be pushed.
Right. They don't have the full story. They just want to be first.
And announcements go out, and people find out that they're dead by hearing it on the news.
Yep.
Like the person who died hears about it on the news.
Yeah, 100%.
So, but now the scammers are doing this is just the next level.
Yeah, they're nailing it. And it's really not part of our show tonight, but to piggyback, because I saw something today as I was just hanging out reading. There are people that will actually ask. We did it last week. You asked AI to write a story about you loving YouTube to Mrs. or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
People do it all the time. My colleague asked ChatGPT, write a Valentine card to my wife, how much I love her, including Pilates. And he sent that to me. People, oddly, I don't know why they do it, but I read it, said, ChatGPT, write my obituary. You can Google these articles and people giving their testimony of it's wildly accurate. It's wildly insane. There's a gazillion lies about my life. Oh my gosh, this was me to a T. It's all over the map. But my question would be, why would you ever ask an AI app, write my obituary so you can read it? That's weird. I'm sorry if anyone in chat has done that. I apologize.
I'm deleting mine right now. I was about to post it on the YouTube.
Why
made a little short. It's a short. There's not much there. It's like, not much to say here. You would sort of average.
I can hope if I do it, it spits out a recipe. That's all I can ask for. It's
going to be a good one too.
Yeah. But it's insane. I mean, the thing with AI, and I mean, AI could be a podcast in itself for about 5 hours. But the thing is, it's just, we've had an article after article after article of it. There's the good and the bad and the good and the bad. So I think it's really important to learn about it, to research it, to understand it, its capabilities, its and where it's at, because it's very helpful in a lot of areas. But it's also very detrimental in a lot of areas. And although it's been hyped up for the last couple of years widely, it's been around for decades. It's just really starting to blossom.
It's blooming right now. It's like it's full on. The interesting thing is AI is getting so good at doing things that we don't expect AI to do.
Right.
That for those of us that watch true crime, it's like, hey, yeah, if there's a video, it's going to seal the deal, right?
Right.
Well, now computers are making some pretty dang realistic videos with somebody's face in them that is not actually in the video.
Right.
And now we can't even trust our eyes anymore. But it used to be that the camera sees everything, right? It's what the camera sees does not lie. It's captured forever in film. Speaking of camera seeing things and not lying, though, is that mine? Is my computer beeping like that?
It's not mine.
So is that a yes?
So that would be yes, because unless we've got someone, we don't have anyone waiting backstage. No,
I don't see it. I don't know what's making it. It's like a Facebook notification. I think every time. Is it yours?
No, but I've heard that's a thing.
Maybe it's my mail. I don't know. I think it's my mail. I had mail opened as well. So speaking of cameras capturing things, sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can be bad. There's actually a news story out that you brought to my attention. Somebody's calling in. Did you tell somebody to call in, Thomas?
No, let's take it.
Call from
Challenge for Weather Watch.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail,
delete, deny, ignore.
What were the options? Hello? Hello? Can you hear this?
Yes. This is Michelle. I'm calling from Ukraine. I have a challenge for
Egg timer's
Mr.
up.
Weather Watch.
Egg timer's up.
Okay.
Make it quick.
Egg timer's up.
Yes, sir. I challenge you that my 15-year-old son can hit a baseball farther with wood bat farther than you can hit with aluminum bat.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll
good night,
pass
Evan.
that on.
Good night, Evan. Thank you. Good
We'll
night.
pass. I hung up on Ivan.
Thank
Hang up. We're gonna get to Ivan after the show.
He
says
can't hear
good night.
me anyways, the way that works. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, we're talking about cameras and where they stand, and a lot of cameras are driven by AI, but there's a big thing out there with cameras and Airbnbs, and you have an Airbnb.
I have an Airbnb.
Do you
I
have
have cameras.
you have Kitty Cam?
Mhm.
How do any of the, does this
Well,
sync
there
together?
there are some cameras that I've liked. I've installed outdoor security cameras. I like doing that, and I like to be able
Outdoors,
to.
great.
Is there another option?
Well, there's indoor. We'll get to it, but outdoor everywhere is fantastic with your property.
Indoor security cameras, those are not security cameras. Those are just bad.
Beep,
Those are
beep.
just bad.
Beeping
you-
Tom cameras.
Yes. There is a story about Airbnbs where it says that 11%, well, 58% of respondents on the survey out of 2,000 people who use Airbnb, 58% reveal they worry about the presence of hidden cameras in their rental. And 11% of them have actually found devices in their Airbnb.
Oh,
That's just over 1 in 10 people.
That's crazy. Debbie says, I stay at a lot of Airbnbs. Please don't tell me they have cameras inside. So yes. So 1 out of 10 people have reported finding cameras inside. And what we found out when Scott and I read over the research is it's not just like a camera over there shooting to the office. It's cameras found in, get this,
In private areas.
AC vents, fireplaces, shower heads, and power plugs. Yes, that's where they have found these. So these aren't just generic cams of, okay, it's a big Airbnb. I need to protect my asset. Here's a big giant camera in the living room. It's hidden cameras in sneaky areas.
I've heard that some Airbnbs will say we have a security camera in the facility and it's right here, and they can do that. And if it's announced and told to the guests beforehand and they're okay with that, that Airbnb I think is okay with the public area only security camera inside Airbnb, but those other areas are not. And I can tell you, as someone who now owns an Airbnb, I am scared to death that one of my renters
We'll find your cameras.
No, not at all. I'm scared to death that someone would install one. I mean, in the cleaning process,
'Cause they
just
could go
think of the
remote.
liability. If in the cleaning process, I have to sweep for bugs, like literally and figuratively, both the digital ones and the live ones. I have to sweep for bugs in the cleaning process between renters.
I'm sorry, I got called out on something because remember when we had Noah on yesterday's stream?
Yeah.
This kid tuned in from the bathroom and I said podcast from the bathroom. Picky called me out on it because I said I would tune in from the bathroom. But
I was gonna look for a background that I could put behind my picture. I just didn't get around to it.
Yeah, I forgot one. Well, here's the thing though. If one of your tenants did that, they wouldn't have the access and the quickness to hardwire it. It would have to be remote. Then when you found it, they would then find that you don't have remote access to this remote camera, someone else's. So it wouldn't be on you. Right?
I don't know. I think I'm concerned that I've got to have there are tools. Trust me, I know how to find the tools that can find a bug, especially if it's a transmitter bug, because I've built them before. I built bugs. I built a radio bug that would transmit on an FM radio station for like 5 miles away. And I did it in the UK, where it's also a felony. I might add, but I'm not over there. Come and get me, Queen. You can't do it. No, just kidding. No, I did. I built a
video of roaches fighting.
I built a bug. It was a lot of fun. Ran off of a 9-volt battery. And every FM radio within like 5 miles, I could talk on this frequency. It was highly illegal. Never used
LB
it.
from Tennessee says, I'm officially never staying at an Airbnb ever again.
Yeah. Wait till you hear the numbers for hotels.
Yeah. So, at least the Airbnbs, the likelihood of cleaner sheets are much better than hotels. So
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I'm gonna have to get like a bug sweeper, digital bug sweeper.
And that's not a broom.
There's a lawsuit.
But I think one of the big helps is because obviously those devices are probably going to be connected to the internet unless you have to be close to it to receive the signal.
Fair.
So odds are it won't be anything close. And if they connect to the internet with me monitoring very closely what devices are connecting to my internet, I'll be able to know if a device is still accessing it after a guest has left.
Yeah.
So.
That's accurate. Well,
now I have that to worry about. Thanks, Thomas. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. I was so excited to put that one into the program when I saw it.
So. You're just making me second guess all my financial decisions in life. Sure. Let's build an Airbnb. It'll be profitable, he said.
What's a partner for? So speaking of Airbnbs and hotels, continental breakfast is a big one.
Oh, yes. I choose my hotel based on the breakfast they offer.
Do you really?
Yes. I could care less about the bed. I'm going to be asleep. I won't remember what the bed felt like. Okay.
If it's a
I'll
terrible
wake up, I'll be
bed,
like a stretch. You're like, oh, that wasn't the best night, but what's for breakfast? That's where I'm at. Current favorites, Holiday Inn Express.
Hampton Inn. Oh no, you're talking breakfast. Actually, they have the best pillows and good breakfast. I do mine off the bed. If it's a crappy bed, no, you're not. Don't kid yourself. You're not sleeping all night on a crappy bed. You're going to wake up with lack of sleep and grumpy and achy and sore. And there's no.
How is that different from any other day?
Fair enough. If it has a good breakfast. No, true. So a lot of times, so we've traveled a lot, and I traveled a lot in my hockey days, and we do the same thing. You base it off the breakfast. And sometimes the breakfast is questionable, but then there's always a staple. They've got the cartons over there with the little fillers of the staple cereals, right? Like, oh, I can default. They've got the condensed fake powdered eggs that look terrible, and I'll have to go to the bathroom an hour into my road trip. So I'm going to go over and just get the Fruit Loops with the hopefully only 1 day expired milk, and I can make it happen. And then, or you go over there, they got the Pop-Tarts.
Oh,
so that
you can never go wrong with a Pop-Tart.
You can never go wrong to a Pop-Tart. And so that leads us into our typical top three, which is going to be a top three, but kind of not. So rest in peace. The founder of the Pop-Tart, Bob Post, died day before yesterday at 96 years old.
Hopefully somebody told him that thousands of people across the U.S. have been able to view eclipses thanks to the wrapper on his Pop-Tarts.
You taught me that.
Safely view eclipses.
Don't
try this. Don't tell me. Don't take my. Yeah, you did it work? I mean, can you see? Did the spot go away over time, or is it still affecting your vision?
I'm going to be extremely transparent. No pun intended. You said take a Pop-Tart wrapper, and you can see. So those of you that don't know this, when the eclipse was coming in and all the little eclipse viewers were sold out and gone, Scott said, hey, if y'all go get a Pop-Tart wrapper, you can use that to look. And so I have a little blonde in here. So I had a tea time the next day with my best pal, and we're on the golf course, and it's starting to peak. And so I took out the Pop-Tart, and we don't have Pop-Tarts in the home. So I went to Walmart before golf and got Pop-Tarts for this. I got the Pop-Tart out, and I completely opened and flattened the Pop-Tart wrapper, like all the way thin. I didn't know you meant just peel the top, pull out the Pop-Tart so it's still doubled up. Mm-hmm. So I used it and was like, I'm blind. He's a liar. It's terrible.
Sorry.
So we then, after like 3 holes of getting blind and trying to watch this thing, we get another package of Pop-Tarts, open it and flatten it out and combine the two. And then it was like, oh, this is great. This works perfect. Yeah. And then it was the next day you were live, and I put in a chat like, yeah, I had to use 2. And you're like, oh, Weather Watch, you had to use 2. Did you not just use it the way it's supposed to be folded, or did you? And I went,
you modified it from its original design.
Yeah. So
I nearly went blind as a result.
100%. But once I figured out 2 layers, amazing. Yeah. And come April, we have an eclipse coming right through Central Texas. So I will be getting some Pop-Tarts.
Get your Pop-Tarts now. Now, so when you get your Pop-Tarts, I realize all the wrappers are the same, but what's inside is different.
100%.
What are your top 3 flavors for Pop-Tarts?
So I can just go boom, boom, boom real quick and knock mine out.
No, because I have to still think of mine one at a time.
Because now from, sorry, Pete, Thomas's retina. So 100%, it was terrible. You should have seen it. I was teeing it up on the next few holes when the eclipse was over, and it was either hitting the eclipse dot in my eye or the golf ball, and I couldn't figure it out. It was bad. I felt so dumb. But so there's a million flavors of Pop-Tarts now. It's gone nuts, right? And I can't. Pop-Tarts can be nasty. So my they're all the same, but my number 3 is cherry and frosted.
Mm.
And I have a select way I eat my Pop-Tarts, which I'll save that for the end. I eat them all the same way, but cherry with the white frosted, that's my 3. I don't do the cinnamon. I don't do the s'more. I don't do the chocolate fudge. Those are all fake. Growing up, we had like 4 flavors. Those are Pop-Tarts.
Frosted strawberry is better than cherry.
It is. That's why cherry was my number 3.
I'm okay with frosted strawberry. I can't do the cherry one.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. I can tell you when I was in the last home I lived in before I moved out with got married with moved into my own home with my wife. So my teenage years home. It came out as soon as I started saying that. I knew I had said something wrong. Okay. So the home I grew up in my teenage years, okay, it had a cherry tree.
Okay.
And before that, I loved cherries. They were delicious. I liked to pick them off the tree and eat them. I don't know what happened, but when I finally went and picked those ones off that tree, I'd been to like farms and picked cherries with my family, and we'd canned them and we'd done all sorts of stuff. Have you ever opened a cherry just like right off the tree before you eat it and like taken the gander inside just to see what else is living on the cherry or in the cherry before you eat it?
Well, yeah. I mean, it falls in line with a lot of natural fruits, but
okay, those little white bugs that that live inside cherries. I found that after eating a handful of them, and then like every cherry I opened had bugs, and I'm like, I'm willing to bet that none of the ones I ate before had the bugs. I chose the good ones, I'm sure, but I can't eat cherries anymore. It's just every cherry from now on, every tree, you'll find a cherry tree, open it up, there's a bug. There's a bug in it. I can't do cherry. So strawberry, I've never had a, open the strawberry and like, oh, there's something. No, strawberry. If a strawberry is bad, it's been eaten on the outside and you know it. And it's like, oh, that one's no good. And so I'm good with strawberry frost. I'm pretty sure Pop-Tarts don't have any strawberry in them at all. It's like some artificial paste that's been flavored and colored to look like strawberry. But
they don't have cherry either, to be honest. I mean, let's be real. So, all right.
So I'm going to do strawberry.
Out on my number 3. Your number 3 strawberry.
Yes.
My number 2 is raspberry with the white frosted.
Okay, raspberry's pretty good choice. I'm going to go with frosted brown sugar and cinnamon though.
That's fair. I know that's a popular one. I can't do it, but I know people like it. So I'm on board with that. Mrs. Weather Watch that might be hers. I don't know. We need to be married longer for me to actually remember that and know. But I think that's in her wheelhouse of
that's well down in the relationship chain of events.
That's years.
What a Pop-Tart somebody enjoys.
That's years. Piggy says great.
Do you need some help choosing?
No, I know my number 1. Oh, there you go. Oh, can we full screen this?
Let's see.
Oh, I just shared screened it to my TV somehow. That's exciting.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, I just lost. Okay. Did you put that in brand on StreamYard?
No, I'm literally on the webpage and I just switched my camera to that. So I don't even know what it looks like to you.
I can't even see you anymore. I can click Scott, remove. I can remove you from stage. He's gone. No, I'll put you back.
If I remove you, it'll go full screen.
Yeah, do that. Oh, I'll do it.
Because all I can see is Pop-Tarts. There we go. There's full screen. And we lost your audio. Thomas. Okay. I'm going to say this one right here. This is going to be my number 3 right over here. Eggo frosted maple Pop-Tarts. And now let's go back to cameras here. Where's oh, there you are. You're back.
I got it. Yeah, no, that's
Eggo.
Just get an Eggo.
Yeah, but this is like the best of both worlds. You're having like breakfast and dessert at the same time. And Pop-Tarts are for breakfast on the run, right? If you had to
What's
sit
an
down and make
Eggo?
breakfast.
Eggo's breakfast. They're both breakfast.
Yeah, but Eggo is not dessert.
Neither is Pop-Tart.
Yeah, it's got frosting on it. It's pure sugar. It's pure sugar.
That's right. I forgot about the health benefits for an Eggo.
Yes.
No, I'm fired. That one's
I've got to move you to the other side. We've got to switch. I can't do the cross-eyed thing anymore.
We tried Eggo once. I'm curious. I've never. Okay. Oh, sorry. 80 Scott. Whether watch wife wear the Pop-Tarts on my TV down here. Yeah. Oh shoot. What does she watch? No, she doesn't watch. She doesn't like my show. She likes Scott. She doesn't like me.
Not true.
So my number one is the strawberry frosted. See, I've stayed within the core Pop-Tart community. I can't get to the cinnamon, the fudge, the Eggo,
Oreo.
They're fake tarts. That's what they are. They're not the real Pop-Tarts. But here's the caveat. And this is where a lot of people I'm gonna gain some hatred here. Heather N. Yes, I had a colleague today said, toaster strudel. That's not a Pop-Tart. That's false. That's made with pastry dough. That's much more tasty, more realistic of a good breakfast. Pop-Tarts are garbage, but they are what they are. So
but I will eat them anyway.
Yes, toaster strudels are much higher quality. It's apples to oranges. So I toast my Pop-Tart. As soon as you pull it out and it's warm, you put a little bit of butter over the top of the frosting. That is the only way to eat a Pop-Tart. I will never eat
You broke up there. Did you say butter?
100%. You spread a little bit of butter over that hot Pop-Tart with the white frosting, and it makes it a whole different meal. It's unreal.
How about just like vegetable oil? Just like, is that
no?
The Pop-Tart's fake. Why use real butter on a Pop-Tart? Why not just go like
vegetable oil is just oil. Butter is fat, and fat equals flavor, says Sam, the cooking guy. You got it out. It's unbelievably good. It's so good.
Are you buttering the frosting side?
Yes. You just take a thin layer and the hot Pop-Tart and melts a little bit of the butter on there. It adds a little bit of moisture to it, which is a trigger word for many.
I realize
you're
treating it like you would a fine steak.
Yes, 100%. I'm dressing it up a little bit.
Do you let it rest for a while to soak in the flavor and
in my belly? Yes. Yes, in my belly.
I've never tried that. I thought you were going to say something about how you eat the corners that are unfrosted first, and then you gobble up the middle, or you peel it apart in layers. And no, you butter it.
See, Megan Easton, why has nobody told me about the sorcery? I'm telling you, try it. It changes the whole Pop-Tart for the better. It's unreal. It adds a little bit of salt to the sweet, adds a little bit of moisture. It's incredible. You got to try it. I forget. Someone else introduced it to me on the road in a hotel for a hockey trip, and I will never eat a Pop-Tart any other way because it makes it so stinking good.
Covers up all the fakeness, says Josh.
Probably. Yeah, Josh is probably right.
I feel my arteries closing.
Yes, that's what it's for.
Butter makes everything better. I will tell you this. I am a big fan of butter. Ever since I learned that margarine was created on accident as a byproduct of stuff like make turkeys fatter or something, and it killed them. I can't eat margarine. I can't. It's like I've got to spend the big bucks and get the real butter, which means I don't get much butter because it costs like about the same as gold per ounce right now. I'm not sure what's up with that. Like milk is dirt cheap. Milk is like $2.37 a gallon, which was I think really cheap out here. But butter, which comes from the same cow as the milk. Okay, you would think that the prices would sort of go in unison. Butter is like
cow as the milk.
It does, right?
Yeah.
They don't this is a butter cow. This is a milk cow. It's all milk. How can you have cheap milk and expensive butter? Somebody's like ripping us off.
Humans get
the dairy farmers calling. Hang on one second.
Call from.
You have to take it.
Lego my briefs.
Lego my briefs. Lego my ego. How are you doing?
You got to take it solo.
Oh, good. I'm not calling in because I'm asking you to Lego my briefs.
Okay.
I'm calling in about butter.
Okay, let's teach me the fineness and the wonderfulness of butter. Go ahead.
When I was a kid, I had a 45, and on one side it had "If I Had a Whistle,"
We're
and
not
on the
talking
other
about
side
firearms,
it had
are we?
this. No, we're not.
Oh, LP,
Ready?
like a record. Okay, go
Yes.
ahead.
Yeah.
I'm with you now.
Oh my God, you Americans. Okay, regroup.
Okay,
Ready?
I'm ready. Go for it.
Okay. Belinda bought some butter, but she said the butter's better. If I put it in my batter, it'll make my batter bitter. So Belinda bought some better butter, put it in her bitter batter, and it made her bitter batter better. But, ready for the next
verse
part?
2. Go for it.
Belinda understood her batter wasn't good. And so she said, I think I'll bake some bread instead. So Belinda made some dough, but didn't do it as projected. I'm not going to complete it, but you get the picture. Anyway, when you started talking about butter, I thought of two things.
Where did that come from?
I don't know, but I remember it because I must have played it over and over.
Is this like some corporate advertising, commercial that somehow got lost in the archives that should be, used to this day?
I don't think so, because it had a picture of a clown on it, so it was probably, maybe it even came in a Pop-Tart box.
we need to put all of our experts. I was just about moved you as well. All of our experts on this to find out where that came from. I've got to hear that. Belinda's butter batter butts better.
Belinda, yeah, God love her. And so she said, I think I'll bake some bread instead. It's cute. I loved it. It's stuck in my head forever. And I know it so well that I can do it to rap music. It's just funny.
Every song you hear, it's like, hey, I could do the Belinda batter butter butt song to this.
Anyway, I thought, oh, butter. That's twice butter. Someone had said the other day that your voice was like butter, and then you were talking about butter, and I said, I'm calling in about my butter. So
that was amazing. A great song. I don't think I'll get a copyright strike on the singing, although it was good. It was
no,
good.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I
Have a
appreciate
good
that.
day.
Link on my briefs. We'll see you.
Hey, bye.
Did you hear that? She was just like off the top of her head. Wow. Where do you get the Belinda butt batter song?
I have to go rewatch that segment. My dog was acting a fool. One of my bigger dogs that I usually don't let hang out in the studio, he was sleeping. So I just said, all right, the show goes on. Well, downstairs door open to go out, and he was up. And so he was hammering the door. So I was doing this with my mic as he was acting a fool. My hand got tired. I had to let him out.
Have you tried putting butter on it? I guess it makes everything better. Maybe it make your dog behave a little bit of a little pat on the head.
Peanut butter.
Yeah. Man, it was that was great. That was great. I wanted to say I didn't have any Pop-Tarts to show, but I do have this this fine specimen of
You've got
M&Ms.
some more to share?
Campfire s'mores. It is share size. I got the share size.
Oh.
Which means that you can watch me not share.
Yeah, I need to update StreamYard so we can find a way to have a portal.
But this is the closest thing I have ever come to eating a s'more. I know Pop-Tarts also makes a s'more version. I haven't had that either. I've never had a Pop-Tart s'more.
If it's not berry, it's terrible, so it's fine.
I mean, it looks, you get 3 colors. You get orange, white, and brown.
Orange? How's orange s'more related?
Like a toasted marshmallow? I don't know if it tastes like a real s'more or not. I tell you, this tastes good, but I have nothing to compare it to.
You never had one. Does it taste like a boatload of sugar with a little bit of crunch and a little fire smoke?
Just the sugar. It tastes like a boatload of sugar. There's no smoke flavor at all.
Okay. And then so you got to address this. M. Young was not there this afternoon. M. Young, RA has been a scout leader for like 30 years. He's been by how many fire pits do you think?
All of them.
5,000?
All of them. Wood badge trained. I'm a Fox, by the way. I've achieved.
He's had a lot
everything,
of snores.
Everything but the Silver Beaver Award. Okay. I have gone as far as scouting. So I can. Eagle Scout myself. Hang on. I'm choking on my fake s'more M&Ms.
So M. Young, I know it's a typo because autocorrect. He's had a ton of snores. In fact, we do a post-show wrap-up where he actually snores in his chair.
I need water.
But
you're on your own.
He's never.
This is how I die right here. I need water.
Not on camera.
I'll be back. Oh,
backstage, you're gone. He's never had a s'more, as he says. So he's been an Eagle Scout. He's taken the kiddos. He's been there. He's been involved. He's been to hundreds of campfires. He's never tried it, and his reasoning was he doesn't like all the sticky, melty foods. He doesn't want to be a part of that and have to clean up and all that. And then someone said, "Well, you can shower, you can rinse." Well, he's outside. There's no showers out there. So no. Out of the thousands of times of camping, he's never had a s'more ever. So what you just witnessed was him trying an M&M flavored
And it
campfire
nearly killed
s'more.
me.
And he almost died.
This is why I don't eat s'mores in real life. I literally I could have black lung from how much campfire smoke I have breathed over the years. I can't tell you the number of times we've had scouts throwing plastic in their spoons and forks and every item of clothing that I've ever worn outside is just imbued with the smoke flavor of a Boy Scout fire, which usually is a large fire for those that don't know. But no, I've never done the s'mores. I've purchased the materials for the scouts to have s'mores. I brought the little roasting sticks or whatever and the bags of marshmallows. Don't get me started on the roasting sticks though. That's another of my pet peeves. This is the worst idea ever. It's like, hey, I've got an idea. Let's wait till it's dark and we'll build a fire and get it going like 2,000 degrees. And then we'll have kids stick metal rods in the fire and get them glowing hot and then wave them around everybody when they can't see where it is. Who thought this up and thought, yeah, this is a good idea. That's a good family event. Let's get some teenage boys out there or scouts because they're responsible and know how to be safe with everything from a pocket knife to firearms. Let's give them a brand, a hot brand that you can injure somebody with or poke their eye out. Another reason not to like s'mores. There's two.
But nobody's searching.
Well, you should be.
No.
You should be, I tell you. I might be in the minority, but I am right on this one.
See, true camping, you're just supposed to find long sticks and you just whittle them down. Use wood. You don't have to use the ones from REI or the Walmart camping. True camping, go whittle down some sticks. Yeah, see, cat pee. Here we go. Don't make us start a poll.
I grew up in the desert. A stick, you would be more likely to find a metal rod than a stick in some of the places where we went camping.
Oh, I now know what kind of desert you guys went camping in.
The West Desert by the bombing range. So, no kidding. I did. I took the boys camping one time at the bombing range that Nellis Air Force Base uses. For their planes out of Las Vegas. We're up in the desert, and if you go just barely into the bombing range, okay, because it is marked, and I realize it's not advisable and everything, but there's no gate. There's just like a sign that's like warning aircraft may be dropping bombs ahead or something like that. It's like sort of vague, and it's not really like, it doesn't say when or anything like that. But you go just inside. There's a mountain, and from any angle, it looks like a perfectly shaped pyramid. Okay. It's like a mountain of boulders and it's perfectly all the way around, but it's just rock, it's sandstone that's tumbled down. It's made this perfect hill, and every single rock has like 50 fossils in it. It's just shells and everything. And it stands up in the desert by itself. They actually call it Fossil Mountain. And the planes, when they're doing the bombing, because yes, they've done it while we were there, they use that as the turning point. They're like low level turning around. You can actually, we've had pilots wave. You can see the pilot bear, eye to eye. That's how close you are to these little F-16s and stuff as they're doing their strafing runs. It's really cool. But I guess security doesn't like it very much. So you have to, once you see the planes, you have to go pretty quick because then guests show up and they don't like you being there.
Camping's over.
Yep.
It's fun. So we're completely off script now, which is fantastic. Speaking of camping, my mother, rest in peace, loved her to death. She was the princess and the pea. My dad was the big outdoorsman. So backpacking Mount Shasta, Mount Whitney, ice climbing, solo all the time. He took me camping as a kid. And we didn't go camping as in campsites. We went, what do you call it? Backcountry, where you find a trail for 7 days that you're hiking, and you hike it, and every night you just find a place to go camp, right? Where you set up your tent.
Yeah,
So we
roughing it.
decided, yeah, roughing it more or less. So mom one time's like, hey, I want to go camp with my boys. Let's do this. So we say, okay. And this is man, I was so young. We had a Suburban with the bread truck doors in the back. I mean, old school Suburban. And so my dad says, cool, we'll get a campsite. Thomas and I will set up a tent by the fire pit / fire right there. And then, it's one of those campsites where you back in your car or a little mini RV or something. And we said, we'll put a mattress in the back of the Suburban. So mom, you can sleep on a mattress in the back of the Suburban, be comfortable, climate. Thomas and I will sleep in the tent. So we did it. It was awesome. We made spaghetti on the campfire. We made s'mores and we had seconds. And
Bring butter.
so no, that's for Pop-Tarts.
Okay.
And so so it's bedtime. So dad and I hop in the tent in our sleeping bags, mom in the climate controlled Suburban with the mattress because we took all the seats out. And it's like 45 minutes into nighttime and it's peaceful. And we just hear bloody murder screaming. And we jump out of the tent and there's tarantula in the Suburban above mom's head. She's in the climate controlled Princess in the Pea mattress with blankets Suburban while we're in the tent, and she gets the tarantula in the Suburban hanging over her head. So dad takes care of her, gets it out, comforts her, and we all go to sleep, whatever. That was the first and only and the last camping trip mom went on. And she had the climate controlled zone. We didn't have a cricket in our tent, let alone a tarantula.
This is why you just sleep on the ground, guys. The bugs will find you. They will find you.
Yeah.
If it's your time to go, and if it's death by spider, it's gonna happen. Okay, just enjoy the stars while you can.
100%. Oh, bless her heart. It was just so fitting because she just did not want to camp. She said, "Fine, I'll go," and then bam, monster spider.
The closest experience I've got to that was a little bit different. I was in what we call a backpacking tent. The whole tent, everything, it weighs under 4 pounds. Under 4 pounds. It's tiny. It's just big enough for one person. I was a scoutmaster. The scouts were down. I was on the top end. The other leader was on the bottom end. So if the scouts tried to leave because it was a narrow canyon, they'd have to go by us. And I'm on the top end and I'm sleeping and I wake up. I'm like, I hear something near my tent. And because it was a clear sky, it was because it was like not raining. I had not used the cover because then it's just like that mesh. And it's like thin, light mesh.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, but we've got cloud cover and it is like pitch black, like the darkest dark you can imagine because we're in a steep canyon, no stars. And I hear something and it's like up by my head. I hear this.
Oh,
I'm like, I'm hearing breathing and it's close to the ground. I'm listening, like I'm hearing just the tiniest of moments. I mean, my ears, when your ears just like turn the volume up to like 200 to try to hear what's going on. And finally I turn and there's like movement, a lot of movement, and rocks get sprayed at my tent as something launches away from my tent and runs. It was a cougar. It was a cougar that was just coming up to sniff the tent. We found out because there was another scout group that was up higher. And
blonde or brunette?
They're all a little bit blonde, but they were up higher and they were up late at night. And the cougar ran up and through their camp
when it left yours.
When it left mine, and they came down and was like, "Did you guys have the cougar?" I'm like, "Yep." And we found tracks and everything. It was really cool. Anyway,
that's neat.
I would have taken the spider over the cougar, because I didn't sleep much after that.
Yeah, that's a little bit. Well, spider wasn't in my tent; it was in the other, and it's not a big giant cougar that could easily eat. That's crazy, but that's what's so fun about camping—the stories that come of it. That's
and it doesn't. I never died, so
I'm here to talk about it. Yeah.
Oh, but man, the number of times that things could and did go wrong are plentiful as well. So we won't think about those, but.
So true. We did one trip on the John Muir Trail. If anyone's interested, it's close. It's between Southern and Northern California. The John Muir Trail through the John Muir Pass. Look up Bishop, California, and all that. So that was our 8-day hike in, hike out, and we have to take a bear canister. And for those of you that don't know, a lot of people, when you go in bear country, you got to tie up your food in a bag and you put it on a line and throw it over a tree and hang it. And you do it nowhere near where you're sleeping or anything because it attracts bears. A bear canister is a canister that's airtight, more or less. You still don't put it anywhere near where you are because they have a sense of smell like dogs. So we did that very same thing. And it was so cool because there was still snow on the ground. And the next morning we got up and there's all these big giant bear tracks right there sniffing our canister that they can't break into or rip open. So they just sniffed it and left it alone. But sure enough, you wake up and go, holy cow, in the middle of the night, there's a few bears that have to be hundreds of pounds right over there trying to get our food. And they just dodged us. But nature is so incredibly amazing, but it's so scary. You have to respect it in all aspects, not just animals. I grew up surfing the ocean. It's so gorgeous. You got to respect it because it'll take you down. I mean, but it's so cool.
Yeah. I'm a big fan as well. I love the outdoors. Mrs. R.A. also loves the outdoors, but she loves it being outdoors while she's indoors. And so we don't do as much camping.
I thought she liked ice fishing.
No. You heard that story wrong. But I mean, if you've never, laid under the stars at, 8,000 feet plus in elevation and had just a clear night and a meteor shower going on, I mean, you haven't lived till you've just seen just the amazing lights of the sky. And I've only seen the aurora borealis once. I guess that would be my checklist. I want to see that.
Yeah.
From one of the Scandinavian countries or Alaska or something. But yeah. Anyway, why are we talking about camping? Oh, because we were talking about Pop-Tarts and s'mores, right?
Yeah, nature. Yeah.
How do we segue from that to electric vehicles? Is that...
Speaking of stars and nature and everything that's going on,
want to hear this.
With nature comes the sun.
Okay, I'm with you.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
That wasn't me. That was
So we're
somebody else.
going to electric vehicles powered by the sun.
Yes. Oh, yes. When if you're here, you go. If you're a big fan of nature, you might be thinking about what can I do to help preserve nature and not cause a major impact. And so your number one go-to would be like, well, my car has a big footprint, so to speak, on nature with the exhaust. And so you might have an electric vehicle. Well, guess what? Your electric vehicle is wonderful. It really is. If you've ever driven one, some of them are amazing. I've sat in at a Tesla, and when they hit that little gas pedal and it just goes, that will change your mind in a heartbeat about electric vehicles. Well, the big downside of electric vehicles is that they're not as easy to fill up with gas, mostly because they don't use any, unless you've got like a hybrid. But an electric vehicle requires charging.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's standard, right? When you buy it.
And charging is not convenient because charging takes time. They have not yet figured out a way to instantly just hit a button and refill as fast as you can refill a gas tank. The charge. News story.
Sixfold. They're good for getting across town. Then you need to Uber home. Yes, this group that we're going to discuss could have used an Uber.
could have used an Uber. Let's see. Oops, now I'm getting an ad pop up when I didn't want one. I'm trying to see who this was from. Is this Georgia? Georgia is our state. Georgia police say they busted thieves not far from the crime of the scene. The thieves had made a getaway, or they had attempted to make a getaway. And had they been driving a normal vehicle that uses gasoline, they could have stopped very quickly at a gas station, filled up, and then still be driving to this day. They'd still be running today, as the song says. But no, they thought, with our crime, we want to have the least environmental impact possible. So being environmentally conscious, we're going to use an electric vehicle as our getaway car. The electric vehicle had been used previously, almost used up as far as the battery goes. So they had a very little charge left. They drive a little bit and then they have to charge. So the cops found them charging their Tesla at the charging station, and they can't do a thing. They're like, charge. You can hear the sirens. You cannot go.
So they can't leave.
Oh, they should have been out camping under the stars instead.
So moral of the story is, when your getaway car of robberies an EV, charge it first.
Yes. Police say they recovered the gaming systems, along with several guns and what they believe is 2 pounds of marijuana. Out of the
That's a
Tesla.
small tote.
Just
Just for them.
personal consumption amounts on all
Yeah,
fronts.
Personal use, assuming there was 5 to 10 people sitting in that EV. Oh, that's so
But yeah, I guess the victims of the crime said, yeah, they got away in a Tesla, and the cops were like, well, we know where they have to go, and there's only 2 charging stations in town, so they found them there,
that's
and then got everything back.
So I would deem that unlucky, but I would just actually kind of deem that unsmart. But for segue purposes, I would just say from going from unlucky to lucky, we get a lottery story on this podcast. It feels like every other episode. Do we not?
Yes, we do. It seems to be there are winners and losers almost consistently. It's almost like that the lottery was designed to have both.
Yeah. Well, I agree, but I feel like we cover some extra winners on this channel. None of us have ever won part of it, but it's crazy that we've had multiple winners, like back to back, in your state included. We've got a new one out of Maryland, who a gentleman went in and he got a $10 scratch off ticket, and he won. So he exchanged it for a $20 scratch off ticket right there in the gas station. And I don't know, so I don't gamble much at all. I've been to Vegas, and I'll put some money on roulette for an hour, and I'll have an adult drink or two, and just the festivities of being in Vegas. But I'm like, okay, here's my $60 that I'm going to gamble with, whether I win or lose, and this is my show. This is my entertainment tonight, right?
Yeah.
We have casinos 10 minutes away. I think I've been like twice in the last 8 years. I bought a scratch off or two. When you get a scratch off, if you win like $2 or $5, do you go in and say, give me the $2 or the $5, or just give me another scratch off? If you've ever done it. I don't know if you have.
I'm not a big gambler either, but what I would do is I'd flip over the scratch off, and I would look at the back, and I'd look at what the odds of winning were. And if only 1 in 10 wins, and I just got a winner, I would take my money and run. That would be like, look, I'm up $1.50. We're just going to call this a win and go.
That answers a lot of questions, because you would be the 1 in 10 Airbnb that has cameras inside their house. So now,
do you butter your scratch offs, Thomas? Yes. Do you butter your scratch offs too? Yes, if it's within the scratch off amount, I just say, give me another one. But so he won 10 and he won 20, and he said, just give me another one. So he got a $20 scratch it off. And right there within 10 minutes in there scratching off $50,000. So 3 in a row, a 10, a 20, and a $50,000 scratch off. The guy in Maryland just sitting there in the gas station won. And no, I don't think he had butter on it. Did he then say, hey, can you give me the next 50,000 cards that you got in that stack? Let's keep going. Oh man, that's let me tell you, I don't play the lottery, but I do know that I've watched some of the guys that play scratchers on YouTube channels, and they'll go out and they'll buy $1,000 worth of scratch cards in a day in a YouTube channel, just scratch it off and trade them in. And these guys are nuts, right? But there's actually strategies and science behind it, mostly math. But some of these bigger games that have the big funky cards, they do a batch, they print a batch, and there are a certain number of winners. And online, there's a record of who's won, like how many prizes have been claimed. So you can go online and find out that certain cards or certain runs of cards have the major prizes still available, but most of the cards are sold out. And so on those ones, if your odds of winning are much higher. But I guess that takes all the fun out of playing, I guess, if you try to win using math. Everyone else just buys a card and calls it good.
So everything you said is right on the money. There is and someone, I think I found it. Someone might already have said it in chat, to be honest. There's a movie of exactly what you just said. Yeah, I think I got it. So everyone knows Breaking Bad.
Yes.
Walter
White, making
White,
meth.
Yes, which is Bryan Cranston. Mm-hmm. So for those of you that are interested in this story and a little fable of it, which is exactly that, it's counting the odds on the back of scratch offs. And he's a crazy mathematician. And so he reads it and says, oh my gosh, if I invest all this money, and I buy $10,000 of these scratch, like I cannot lose ever. So I think I found it. It's called Jerry and Marge Go Large. That's the movie. Okay, 6 volt. He's already said he's seen it.
I'm not sure with that title. I'd hesitate even Googling it, but
It's just gambling, has nothing to do with Valentine's Day.
okay.
So it's just, and it's set back a few years ago, although it came out in 2022, but it's established prior to that. It's a great movie. It's an hour and a half. I bet a lot of people have already seen it, but it's fantastic because he's a math professor, and then he finds the scheme and he does it. He hides it from his wife because he's winning all this money on scratch offs. And then she goes, "Wait, what? You found a way to do it?" It's actually really, really cool. Rated PG-13, so it's
For all the math content.
Yeah, for everything that goes over.
Not for kids. Trust me, teenagers will not like this video.
Right. PG-13 because most of us can't follow. But anyways, great movie, and it's exactly what you were just talking about, Scott. It's how they calculate the math and how they do it and figure out and beat the system. But there's comedy behind it as well, so it's a lot of fun. So I do recommend that one. Again, Jerry and Marge Go Large.
Go Large.
Be a gambling. Bryan Cranston. A lot of fun. So so lottery always finds a way in. So what we've learned is Scott doesn't like s'mores.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put butter on your Pop-Tarts.
Everything. Butter on everything.
Butter on everything, even lottery tickets.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh man.
But so we are.
That's all we learned.
We're past the road. Scott, what time are you going live on your channel tomorrow?
I don't know. The case wrapped. It's Friday tomorrow. So we're gonna have some fun. I think we'll court hop. I think Judge Boyd had a couple things. I think she's gonna be in town. Judge David Wolf, I think, is still doing a couple things. We might go back and watch what happened today with Judge Wolf because he had this funny little case with it was like parents died and left a bunch of money and the kids are fighting over it, and then some no-name person showed up and said, "I'm the long lost relative you didn't know about." So I want to see what happens there. So
I own all the money.
Yes, I was actually. She says, "I'm from a relationship with a 13-year-old 50 years ago." Yeah, that's the story. So it's going to be a little bit wild. But I don't know. So tomorrow, probably about 8:30, 8:45ish.
Perfect. 8:30.
Sounds like 9 to you, right?
100%. No, you're in the 7s my time since I'm behind you, but I'll be up. Megan Easton says, "Wait, was it guilty or not guilty?" It was not guilty.
It was not guilty.
It was not guilty.
If I can get a mod type exclamation point rebel in chat tonight after our show, Ivan and Ricky, who are friends of the channel, we've known them for a long time. They're doing a podcast or their show live as well tonight, and they're going to be talking about some stuff that may be interesting if you still want to stay up and hang out with some of the same people. Different content. They're not me, so don't expect Thomas and me on there to be. They do it their own way, which is cool, and excited for that. So there's the link right there. I appreciate you posting that one. So if you need that. Anyway, that's all. I think I'm going to go to bed Friday. The weekend is here tomorrow.
It is. It's there. A little off topic real quick, if I can get a disclaimer out there. Our family, we have a fundraising event this weekend. This is not a solicitation for money. It's just awareness. For those of you that live in areas with venomous animals and or reptiles and whatnot, we have a big fundraiser this weekend. It's been going on for about 15 years. My niece, sadly, was bit by a rattlesnake at the age of 2 and passed.
Oh, man.
So we have an event every 2 years where we host people, and it's to raise money for local hospitals and small towns for antivenom. So if anyone feels inclined or ambitious or has had any event near them or their family to start anything like it for their own areas to support their own family or friends, go do it. Because when our family first thought about this, they thought it was going to be a total flop and a fail. They did it 15 years later, and hospitals are getting more and more and more funding in antivenom and has been saving lives. So anyone in chat thinking about doing something to go help and support someone no matter the cause, do it.
Do it.
Trust your gut and do it.
That is great advice. That is awesome. Thomas, you're a great person because you don't toot your horn very much, but this is how he lives. He's always out helping people. He's always looking for opportunities to lift people up and help people that need it. So thank you very much, Thomas, for setting the example for the rest of us. Everybody else, be like Thomas. What can I say?
Scott, I appreciate it. Just
Thanks.
because I've been lifted up by so many people, including yourself. I wouldn't be here without you. So I really appreciate it. And I wouldn't be here without all the people that are viewing and tuning in on a Thursday night when there's so much else to do. But here they are watching us. So
What I heard is that you want to be in bed, but you're still here because of me. So
No.
if I just stop the music, you can go to sleep.
no, not true.
I'll let that happen. No, I appreciate it. I realize that. Thank you very much. Everybody have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Good one.
Good night, everybody.